Hi there, Leslie Swedish with Moxie Coffee Company and the Moxie Women's Foundation, and today we are talking with Francie Hinrichsen. Did I say that right?
You did.
And she is the founder of Female Founders. Thank you very much for joining us today. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for what you're doing. This is amazing.
Oh, well, thank you for what you're doing. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so Founding Females is an opportunity for women to come together with that shared interest of entrepreneurship. So I have some just really amazing women in my life who I take inspiration from for this organization, and they teach me about faith, they teach me about family, they teach me about how to be a member of my community. And so I'm pulling from them and investing it all back into this organization that supports and uplifts women entrepreneurs. So it doesn't matter if you have a dream in your heart and you haven't taken any steps to get there, or if you're starting your third business. What we want to do is create this community where we can share knowledge and uplift one another, talk about hiccups or lessons learned, advice, and share that openly so that we can all help each other take a step up in our businesses.
Wonderful. Now, how do you go about doing that? How is that support offered?
Sure. So this company was created out of this message that was on my heart. I had a marketing, data, and analytics business, and at the same time I was promoting female entrepreneurship and helping to pass along the knowledge that I was picking up along the way. And so eventually these roads diverged, right? And so the marketing was getting kind of messy with the female entrepreneurship, and so we decided to give Founding Females its own name and its own brand. And so this is a company that's technically, legally, only just a year old, but we started with a female mastermind, so women who are through proof of concept, and I consider that to be businesses that have regular, recurring customers. And we've been running that mastermind for a year and a half now. And so we've really picked up some speed. This is a great time to be talking with you because we have an in-person event coming up. If I've learned one thing in business, it's that relationships are absolutely everything. And we know that we really can't form these amazing friendships and relationships unless we're talking to each other in dialogue. So we'll be hosting an event here in Central Illinois in March. Around the same time, we're also going to be launching a published book. So it will be a how to start your business. But the way it's different is that it allows you to journal through the process and write your ideas down. That space is available on the pages as women are going through the process. So it takes the clarify, what are you wanting to start here? Does this business fit you as a person? Does it fit this dream that you're working toward for your life? Then it takes them through research, building, launching, profiting, and scaling, and that will come with an online suite of resources. We also have plans to launch in March a startup community. So women who are just getting started and they're asking things like, should I be an LLC, a nonprofit, a sole proprietor? Those types of questions. How do I start marketing? How do I establish my brand? How do I even create a brand? Who is my target audience, right? Those types of questions, they will be able to ask them in a private community, a private portal, and come to mentoring sessions once a month. So we're really ushering women into the process of starting their businesses and saying, come along, we can do this together, we've got you, you can do this. And then a couple of other things I'm really excited about, Leslie, is that we are in talks about creating a seed fund for women. We know that the financial piece of running a business is often the impediment that keeps women from getting up and going. And the average microloan request is only $1,200, right? So we hear about all these big, sexy tech IPOs and asking for just millions of dollars to get money to get their businesses up and running, but we know that it doesn't always take that much. It only takes, $1,200. We can figure out a way to get that out into the community so women can get their businesses up and going. And so the seed fund is something I'm like totally geeking out over, super excited about. And finally, we are investing in entrepreneurship programs for youth, knowing that we have the opportunity to create this image of what entrepreneurship is for young kids at an age where, business is not what it used to be. Now, if a woman wants to start a business, it can be only as big as it needs to be, right? That we don't have to go big and scale and sell it off. We are creating businesses to fit the lifestyle that we want to wake up to.
Yes.
And so that's a big shift. That's a big mindset shift. If there's a female who wants to make $1 million, we're in her corner. But that's not everybody. And so we're also creating this idea that if you want a lifestyle business that supports this passion in your heart, that's valid, and you can do that too, and we've got a seat for you.
That is amazing. What does the event entail?
Sure, so it's an in-person event. We are watching COVID closely, knowing that that's a very big deal. But it will be just a one-day event where women can come. We've got dynamic speakers lined up. Our keynote runs the minority business developments that are here in our area. We also have a coffee shop owner who has created a business that doesn't need her. That's a lot of people's goal, but it seems to be an elusive goal, right? Like, how do I separate myself from my business? How do I create a business that doesn't require my time? And so she's going to be talking to us about working yourself out of your job. And then we have an accountability coach is her title, but she was diagnosed at 29 with MS, and she'll be talking about mental strength being the new self-care.
Yeah.
And so then we'll have a panel of advisors. So we have a banker, your attorney, your CPA, your mentor, your brand strategist, who are all going to have this conversation in one room. Normally, when we're starting our businesses, we set up meetings to go meet with these people one-on-one. But we want to get this dialogue happening in the same room so that women can understand how different decisions and different facets affect one another. So we've got a panel, an amazing panel lined up to be able to answer those questions. We're also going to be having mastermind sessions. So we pair peers up with peers, right? If you're before proof of concept, you can be matched up with people who are in a similar season in their journey. And then if you are through proof of concept, you can ask questions. And our one question that we ask is, what's your current challenge? And how can we as a community help push you through it? Who can I connect you with? What knowledge can I lend to you? What insight about going through that same experience can I tell you about to help push you through this challenge? And networking, like I said, connections are so important. So if you don't spell my secret, the reason why I want to get all these women in one room is for those connections, those collisions, call them positive collisions. And we're also going to do, your average conference things so that they can learn and grow and develop. But truly, the aspect of building relationships is so important to business. So we really want to focus on that as well.
Fantastic. The networking is everything. I mean, the people that you can run into and the weird connections that you can make where they're just kind of out of left field. You never thought that would be something that would come out of it. I've seen are just absolutely amazing. So I think what you're doing is great. If somebody were interested in coming to your event, how would they get that information?
We have it all on foundingfemalesco.com.
Okay.
Go there and purchase tickets. We also have low-cost childcare for women who otherwise would not be able to come, right? Because we gotta build some resources to fit a woman's lifestyle. So that's available on our website as well. The general ticket is on there, and then we also have a fun VIP package. It's called the Business Bestie VIP package. So you can come with your friend or your co-owner and have an on-site Airbnb loft to stay in overnight so that you can go to the conference and then digest everything that you just learned and talk through it and kind of debrief, if you will.
I'm going to have to look into that.
Fine.
When is the book slated to come out? Do you know?
Yes, so we're in final edits right now. I'm approving the how the layout of each page is, and that's the final step. So after that, we will go through Amazon. It will be available on Amazon. We don't have a specific date, or else I would tell you, but the goal is to have printed copies at the event, and that's March 5th.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's going to be pretty soon, in the next 6 weeks or so.
I wrote that date down.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see what I have going on. Wonderful. And you said that you had another business, digital marketing. Was that what you said?
Yeah. So let me tell you a quick story. When I graduated, I wanted to open up a high-end day spa. And so I, walked across the stage, and then I set out my plans to go get experience in a medical spa type of setting. And I ran far and fast because I didn't understand about myself the importance of work that fuels your soul. And I found out that managing people and the management work that was required of me in that position and would be required of me if I ran a day spa of my own, it wasn't something that brought me satisfaction naturally. And so I grew up the daughter of an entrepreneur, and I knew they wore many hats. And so I started a virtual assistant business. That's really what I was. I wanted the freedom. I wanted a little bit of breathing room, a lot less red tape. And I started a business helping small business owners in the back end. And they kept asking more marketing. I don't care if you have to learn it, just figure it out, right? And so I did it. And I taught myself data and analytics. And so now I help clients run their websites. We also help make sure they're optimized so that their website is primed for that organic search traffic, SEO. And then once that's done, we help look at their website and say, okay, why aren't people converting? And we help increase their conversion. So we look to say, okay, we need a button here. We know that people are dropping off your website. The data shows us. Or we know that people are coming to this specific page or blog post, so we need links in through your website. So we massage the content and the way that website visitors interact with the website in order to make it more likely that they'll convert.
I love it. This is what every single business owner needs that has a website. Who doesn't have a website anymore?
Well, and the barriers to entry have never been lower, right? And by that I mean, you could start your business in a weekend, which is so beautiful. I love it so much. And also it means that we're throwing a lot of things on our back. I'll take care of that. I'll do the web design. I'll do the email. I'll figure it out. And then what happens is business owners create those things the way they see it from the front end on other businesses' online presence. They don't understand the intricacies on the back end. And so we're humans, and it's all psychology at the end of the day. And so what I do is I help create reports for companies that if those people are coming to your website, we're going to make sure that visit is impactful.
That's amazing. And so it was just kind of out of seeing another need. I didn't quite understand. You said you had the other aspect going, something minds that turned into founding females. What was it that you were doing exactly?
That's a great question because this is important. So when I was running just my marketing business, there was no founding females at this point. I met another friend at a conference, and we decided to be accountability partners. And we said, we're going to meet at this coffee shop every month, and we'll open it up to the community. And if anybody else shows up, great. But if not, we will be there and committed to each other. And it grew. As it turns out, women really like community, right? We asked that question, what's your current challenge, and how can we, as a community, help push you through it? And this group grew. We were overflowing, sections of coffee shops, and we really had a lot of momentum going, and then COVID hit. And so there was still this craving for meeting with women before we knew this was going to be a 2-year ordeal, right? And so we took it online, and it had a few iterations at that point, but what it turned into was a private, it's called Mighty Networks, if anyone's interested in creating a community. We're inside of a Mighty Network called the Founding Females Mastermind. And that is a small group of women who meet twice a month. And we have a specific theme each month. This month it's focus. So today, actually, we had our power session this morning at 9 a.m. and we were talking about, okay, what do you need to eliminate and what do you need to start doing more of in order to focus on your goals ahead. So we talked about things like mindset, how we talk to ourselves. Social media, of course, is a big distraction, right? And we just talk and share ideas about how we can move the needle in our business. And so that was really the first piece of the puzzle. And that group is for women who are through proof of concept. So they already know that their idea sticks. They already know people are willing to pay for it. They already have their processes worked out. But we know that those women started somewhere. You started somewhere. I started somewhere. We were asking questions, probably in private, feeling blindfolded. And so what we want to do is give this same opportunity for women to engage in dialogue and ask questions and share resources to women who are in that different phase of business. But I'm a strong believer, and maybe you can relate to this, that when you're in that before it works stage, there's a lot of vulnerability. And you're around and you don't really want to share your idea with people, and it's a little bit nerve-wracking. And so if we get, I call her DIY Dolly, if we get DIY Dolly with her peers, she's going to have confidence. She's going to realize that her questions are not stupid, that actually there's 10 other people in the room who have that same question. And so we work through it together. But if you put a Dolly with who I call a full-scale Fiona, who's, she's working on creating revenue streams, she's a powerhouse. She's moving the chess pieces. If you put a DIY Dolly with a full-scale Fiona, there's a chance that a DIY Dolly is going to just crumble or shrink in that experience because she feels so intimidated by that different, they're not different, they're just at a different place in their journey. And so I feel strongly that peers should be matched up with peers. Don't get me wrong, I think there's a great use for a mentor, but that's a different setting, right? So we definitely want to make sure that group members are sharpening one another.
I like that. I laughed. I have a 2-year-old named Fiona, and she was full scale Fiona today. When you said that, I was like, oh, that one's gonna stick in my household.
Your full scale Fiona needs to meet my full scale Fiona. How old is your daughter?
She's 2.
Okay, I got a 3-year-old and she is spicy.
Oh yeah, yep. I also have a he'll be 21 next month, and my other daughter will be 16 next month. So I'm all over the place.
Busy mama.
Yeah, yes. I want to circle back though. You said something about having a different focus or theme each month, whether it was, focus or what have you, to move the needle on where your business is. Are you finding that focus tends to be a little bit more intrinsic and a little less like do this specifically for your business?
Well, it's all related to what each entrepreneur's goals are. Mm-hmm. So some women are very, what's the word I'm looking for? Logistically oriented. So their focus is getting their processes in order. Right, so the physical, getting a Dubsado account, for example, and having your contracts in order so that the process is automated. Then we have other people in the group who their focus is balance. They don't want to grow anymore because they don't have the time and the capacity. And so they want to really focus on that internal feeling of contentment in their business and enjoying where they are. And so those are very different goals, but yet we have a conversation that deeply impacts everybody because we share how we're going through it. And a lot of times it comes down to mindset. With the process-oriented person, that person still has to hone their mindset to have discipline and to sit down and to make a plan and to work backwards about what those micro goals look like. And so she can lend insight and help to the person whose goal is balance. And we also know that maybe you say something that really doesn't click with me until a month down the road or 2 months down the road. But we are kind of just storing away these ideas and shaping and refining our mindsets over time, knowing that that helps us as decision makers as a whole.
Absolutely. You know, I see, and I find that I almost feel redundant. If anybody's watching these interviews with me consistently, they're hearing some of the same stuff. But I feel like there's a huge movement for women to get away from competition and into more community. And it's profound at this point. And I don't know if it's just because I keep seeking like-minded people out for this, so I'm constantly coming in contact with it, but it's just been really incredible to watch. And I think that COVID had a lot to do with people seeking more community than ever before. Would you agree with that statement, or?
I would agree with that, and I don't know where it comes from, but I would agree that women are linking arms and they are lifting each other up, and they are leaving old habits in the past, right? Like the gossip, the competition, those types of things that it's really not helpful for anyone. The
claws, they're retracting.
The claw, yeah. And I've been a part of sports teams all my life. I've been a part of sorority. I've always somehow gravitated toward groups of women. And so that on all sides of the spectrum, as far as women coming into community. And there is a profound shift. I'm glad that you've noticed it too.
You know, it was really interesting, and I shared this with an interview. I did an interview with a woman. Her name is Sarah Boutwell, and she founded the Divine Sisterhood and a photography business that's centered around bringing, vulnerability out and, community, a sense of sisterhood. And I shared this with her. It was a very random post that I came across on Facebook, and it was something to the effect of, the women used to gather around the stream to wash their clothing together, and the advent of washing machines, even though everybody thought it would be such a wonderful thing, actually contributed to a deep depression. Wow. Because they were no longer having that time together. And, I read that, and it was literally just something I scrolled and stopped because the imagery captured my eye. And I just thought that was really, really profound, and I can understand it completely. I think that we did get very far apart, and not even just in COVID, but, through competition and breaking into the workforce as a gender created a lot of competition. So I'm very glad to see that there are so many people out there that are creating new communities for women who are just trying to make better lives for themselves and their families and the generations behind us.
I would agree with that. And if that is happening as a whole, inside and outside of entrepreneurship, I can vouch for inside of entrepreneurship, there is just this beautiful camaraderie, a glue that sticks us together because we know how hard it is to start a business and to run a successful business, especially as a mom.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have this, behind the scenes idea of what it takes. And I know if you're doing that, you are a total badass, right? Like if you can do this, you are amazing, and I want to be in your corner.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the motherhood aspect of it brings in just a whole other set of challenges. The childcare challenge right now is just insane, and it's something that makes me very thankful for being an entrepreneur and being able to kind of mold what my life looks like, because without it, I just don't know what would be happening with my 2-year-old. I'm sure there's many other women in that boat. It's very interesting. And yeah, I think that getting like-minded people together and having people in your corner and just having more avenues for women to be able to bounce ideas off of each other and be encouraged. Not everybody has like an intrinsic network. They might not have a partner or a spouse or family members that are going to be like, you can do anything. So I think it's amazing to put that together. If somebody were to want to get involved with Founding Females, what is the process for that?
Yeah, great question. So foundingfemalesco.com, we have our mastermind linked there. And I would say just reach out on Instagram. That's one of the easiest ways at this point to get connected and to get a conversation started.
Okay.
We are, starting in Central Illinois. That's where I'm from, and that's where I have a pretty tight network that I refer people along to. But we do plan on Founding Females being a national organization. And so our mastermind has people, in 3 different states, and we plan on growing and continuing to do that. So I would say it's a good time to jump on board.
What's the format? Is it membership-based? Is it service-based?
Yeah, it's membership-based.
Okay.
It's $39 a month. And the My Networks has app accessibility. So you'll get notifications when somebody posts or comments, when there's a new announcement that goes out and those types of things. And then we meet twice a month. So the first meeting is really just open dialogue and open conversation. We start to introduce that month's topic and plant seeds for what we're going to be talking about. And then the second meeting is, we call it a power session. So that is a deep dive into the focused topic. And we run that one a little bit more structured so that we can honor each other's time and make sure that if anybody has questions, we get those out there. So we want to make sure that we're not, breezing past some of these questions, but we also want to make sure that we're using time wisely. And so those are about an hour, both of them are. And then in between those meetings and throughout the rest of the month, people can ask questions like, hey, what do you think about this new website copy? Or does anybody know an attorney that I could link up with? Something like that.
Awesome. Those meetings, are they just in person right now, or do you have a virtual option?
They're all virtual.
Oh, perfect. Wonderful.
All, even people who are in, down the road from me, who are in the mastermind, next community over, we still always meet virtually.
So outside of your network, who are some of your biggest supporters? Who's in your corner?
Yeah, well, you mean outside of Founding Females?
Yes. Because somebody had to be there to get you there.
Absolutely. And when I started my business, I didn't have enough clients to fill all the time in my day. And so I just showed up to networking meetings. And I gained this sense, I keep using the word camaraderie, but I gained this sense of camaraderie. Like, how can I help you? Who can I connect you with? What do you need? And so one of the people who has been in my corner the most and taught me that mindset is my mentor. Her name is Doris Simmons. And she's in her 70s. She has run a business, and she also ran a career for quite some time. And we text probably weekly. She'll send me, I'm going to workout class, or I'm with my grandbabies today, or she'll send me, advice on being a wife or being a mom. And I'm just so thankful that there's somebody out there who's willing to pour into me. I don't know that I have much to give back to her, because she's just, her heart and her mind are so beautiful and pure, but I'm so thankful. I'm going to take it while it's there, because you don't want to ask too many questions.
Yeah, I'm sure your success and enthusiasm and appreciation is more than enough.
Yeah. Thank you.
What are some of you? I'm sorry?
I'm going to interrupt you, but can I turn that question around? We've talked so much about the community. Can I ask you about who's in your corner and what your support looks like?
Yeah, actually, I would have to say that it really started with my husband. He was one of the first people in my life to fully be in my corner and tell me that I could do anything. So we started my coffee company. It was really his idea, and part of that was, in order for me to have something that I could really get behind outside of sales, I started the Moxie Women's Foundation. So $1 for every item sold for my coffee company is donated to the Moxie Women's Foundation, and we have a nice little network of women who are business, I want to say goal oriented instead of entrepreneurial, because we have some people that are competing in sports and things like that. So we have weekly meetings. We have amassed some resources like small business mentoring, time management. What else do we have? Oh, even just some tech support. And then we have micro grants that we give out quarterly in the amount of $1,000. To ambitious women in the capital region, and then we're rolling out we're accepting applications for our first annual grant, which we have $5,000 for. So yeah, it's my little, I have older children that, tell me every day that I'm doing, great work, and they're proud of what they've watched me go through, and where I started to where I am. So that's my biggest support right there. It's where I draw my strength from.
Yeah, I'm so glad I asked. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you. You're the first person to ask me that in an interview. I'm not used to having the role reversed, so that was very interesting. Thank you for that. What are some of the challenges that you faced in all of this?
Yeah, well, I think that my heart really had to be broken. And what I mean by that is thinking that I was going down one career path and feeling like I failed miserably at it. I felt like I left my corporate job with my tail between my legs. And what I realized is that God was totally drawing a path for me forward to be able to impact lives. And so I would say changing my self-concept and really doing a lot of self-work as far as where I gain my value and my purpose in life, I think. So it very much changed from me focused and what I achieved to what can I propel women to do? How can I get behind them and help move their dreams and ambitions forward? And so that was one of the challenges. I think there's a lot of obvious challenges in society as a general example. Knowing that women of color get turned down for loans at twice the rate of white men. There are some very real, covert challenges out there that we are going to have to stand up and talk about, first of all. Be with people who are different from us and face head on. Financial literacy is another one that I always mention. A lot of women in business didn't have somebody in the home pull the seat for them when they were talking about the budget or 401k or all of these things that we really need to have a solid grasp on in order to run one of the most crucial components of our business, which is the financial side.
It's actually a workshop we have coming up in March with the foundation is some financial literacy for women.
That's amazing. We need it.
Absolutely.
And I love to see there's a Women's Bank of Illinois that recently launched. I know there's apps teaching women how to invest. So it's changing, but change often takes time and a lot of commitment from community stakeholders. So we want to get behind that and help women feel comfortable with the dialogue that it takes to be able to sit down at a negotiation or a bank loan interview or something like that to know that they're a good bet.
That's amazing. I love it. It's so very much in line with what we're doing here.
Yeah, well, this is serendipitous, and really glad to be connecting with you.
Yeah, I think it's probably, when I was doing searches and trying to find, people, and I start searching ambitious women and entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs and things like that, your content was very prominent. So, your digital marketing is effective.
Well, good.
So what's your marketing company?
It's called Simply Integrated.
Okay, good. I'll have to make sure to find website information for that so we can share that with people as well.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing. I love hearing about new space, well, not new, but I love learning about spaces that are available out there for women who are trying to excel. I hope that, you know, you get some more traffic and some more members after this, and keep doing the great work. It's amazing.
Thank you. I don't want to totally upend your format here, but can I ask you, how can we be cheering for you? How can we support your efforts? Because what you're doing is you're magnifying your clients' money. You're taking their dollar and you're going out and you're doing good things. And so I hope that we can take just a few minutes to talk about how I can and how listeners can be in your corner to help push the momentum on that.
Well, you know, you can always donate to the foundation, you know, membership. You know, we are local to the capital region of New York, but most everything is digital. So if there was somebody that wanted to donate resources to the women in our membership, you know, we would be happy to accept resources, you know, and they can be anything from, you know, some financial planning to a yoga class, a digital yoga class. You know, and then with the Moxie Coffee Company, $1 for every item sold with Moxie Coffee is donated to the foundation. So that helps as well. Moxie Coffee funded the first 4 quarterly grants from 2021. So, you know, it does a really, really good thing. I also tend to have a raffle going, at least, you know, 1 per month. It's usually a collector's item mug. And those raffle donations are, you know, a lot of what goes to funding these micro grants. Our first grant went to a jeweler who purchased a pneumatic engraver. Our second micro grant went to a woman, Shauna Merritt, who has the business Nerdy by Nature, who purchased a vibratory rock tumbler because her loose stones were her biggest seller, and she was hoping that that increase in revenue by being able to process that more quickly was going to help get her into a brick and mortar faster. Quarter 3 was Dr. Sarah Avery. She purchased weight vests for women in her osteoporosis program. And quarter 4, which have we officially announced it? I think we have. Is going to Melissa Myers, who is training for the Olympics for judo.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, so it's been really amazing to be able to do this, and you know, help these women. We have applications that are being accepted for 2022's quarter 1 micro grant, which has a focus on artisans, and as well as the annual grant. So.
Well, keep doing it. People like me need people like you. You're amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's amazing. I love doing it. It started as a half-cocked idea of, well, I'm gonna just donate $1 and give it to other people. Because very similarly, you know, I think your heart has to be broken. And when I was thinking, I was a hairstylist prior to COVID. And everything was changing. You know, I had a baby. I was 41 years old on maternity leave with a baby when COVID hit, and I was a hairstylist, and the whole industry changed. And trying to look at starting something new, you know, it's well, look at all the things that I didn't stick with, that I failed at for one reason or another. And then I was like, you know what, I didn't really fail at it. Every single one of those was because I didn't have enough money, and it was usually only like $1,000 that could have gotten me over the hump. It was never much. You know, when I was a real estate agent and my dues were up and somebody had stolen a bunch of money from me and I just didn't have that $1,500, you know, I wonder what my life would have looked like if I had been able to have that $1,500 to stay in real estate. I mean, you never know. So that's how everything started with the foundation, is just kind of not knowing what I was doing, and then here I am doing it.
Look at how you've made lemonade out of lemons. That is so amazing.
Yeah, it was good, and I hear this a lot. Like, a lot of the people that I'm reaching, and I don't know why it is that I keep finding people who are like, yeah, then COVID hit and I didn't know what to do, and now all of a sudden I'm doing this dream thing that's better than I could have ever imagined it being. And it's, so some good came out of dark times, and we're back in the thick of it, and it's more challenges for people to face. But I think that because we had the first year and a half, 2 years of everything going on, so many of these communities have popped up for people when, you hit January and the sun's not out as much, and, there's more quarantining happening, and, just everything. There's more places for people to go for community and support and just something to look forward to.
There's a lot of good people out there, and I think when COVID hit, people said, okay, what do I have to lose? Let's go for it. So I love to do that.
And I also think social media is changing. I think it's going to be a very, very slow, gradual change, but I think that we're going to start seeing, and this is just a weird prediction, I think we're going to start seeing people either using social media differently or starting to gravitate towards other platforms that are going to be maybe a little bit more beneficial and uplifting, instead of just time and energy sucks and, dopamine hits and, scroll zombies. So I think that there's a need for it. I think as businesses, we rely heavily on social media because of reach, but I think there's going to be a shift there too.
I hope so. It's not something I've explored or thought about before, but I'm so encouraged to hear you say that, and I hope that's where we go, because we sure do need it.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm starting to hear about, you were talking about, what is it, Mighty Network? Mm-hmm. You opted to use something other than, a Facebook group for your network. I have somebody else that's using Discord for the same purpose of, having a place to go without all of those other distractions and, negativity and trolls.
Yeah.
No trolls.
No trolls. Yeah.
That's great. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. You can expect to see this post go out through the foundation on February, what did I just look at, 4th, it's a Friday. We're going to send your coffee out right around that time too. It's just easier for us to keep track of everybody and make sure everybody gets a nice little treat to say thank you for joining us. And I appreciate you. Thank you.
Same to you. Same to you. I look forward to being in each other's corners.
Absolutely. A great connection was made today.
Definitely.
All right. Bye now.